If you're ever home alone and there's nothing to eat in the house, there's almost always potatoes lying around. And mixed with a little bit of seasoning and a little bit of olive oil and an oven, you can make homemade fries just like the restaurants. All the materials you're gonna need to make these fries are a large bowl, 1 potato, a sharp knife, onion powder, garlic powder, olive oil, red pepper flakes, salt, dried basil, and a baking sheet. Once you wash off the potato, you cut the potato into 1-inch slices horizontally until the entire potato has been cut. Once you've cut the potato into inch-long horizontal slices, you're gonna discard the end slices. Alright, now once you have your end slices discarded, you're gonna take 3 slices at a time and cut them vertically into 3 equal-sized pieces. Okay, so once all your potatoes are cut, you're gonna want to put them in a bowl of ice water to get the starch out of them, because the less starch the potatoes have, the crispier they can get in an oven. Once you have all of your potatoes inside of the ice water, you're gonna wanna mix them around because the potatoes can get stuck to themselves in the ice water. So you're just gonna wanna mix them for about 30 seconds, and then you can pop it in the refrigerator, or you can leave it out on the counter. Either way is fine. So it's been a little over 10 minutes and the potatoes have been in the ice water in the refrigerator. And now what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna strain the ice and the water out of the bowl and then transfer the potatoes onto a dry paper towel and leave them to sit there for about 10-15 minutes. So once again, once you have all of the ice and water drained from the bowl, you're just gonna wanna take the potatoes out of the bowl and put them spread out on a dry paper towel, or maybe a double layer of them. And you're gonna wanna make sure they're spread out so that they don't stick to each other. So now it's been about 10-15 minutes, you're gonna wanna take the paper towel off of the top and take your Ziploc bag and put the potatoes into the Ziploc bag. So once you have all your potatoes in the bag, you're gonna want to discard of the paper towels and take the seasonings and the olive oil to put inside of the Ziploc bag. So here I have 1 tablespoon of olive oil, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes, half a teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of Himalayan salt. If you don't have Himalayan salt, it's perfectly fine. You can use regular white salt. 1 teaspoon of pepper and half a teaspoon of dried basil. So what you're gonna wanna do is you wanna put the olive oil into the bag first. You don't have to close the bag, but make sure to spread the olive oil throughout all of the potato slices. And then you're just gonna wanna add all of your ingredients, making sure to shake it in between each one so that the top potatoes don't get the most seasoning than the bottom ones. Now, once you've massaged the potatoes for a good enough time to make sure all the seasoning and the olive oil has spread throughout the entire bag, you're gonna wanna take some aluminum foil and a baking sheet and put aluminum foil on top of the baking sheet. Once you have the tin foil on top of the baking sheet, you're gonna want to take 1 teaspoon of olive oil and then just spread it on top of the aluminum foil, and then take a paper towel and spread the olive oil on top of the aluminum foil to make sure that the potatoes don't stick during the baking process. So once you oil the aluminum foil, you're gonna wanna take the potatoes out of the Ziploc bag and place them on top of the aluminum foil. And then you're gonna want to spread them out evenly among the entire baking sheet. So once you have your potatoes evenly spread among the baking pan, you're gonna want to put them in the oven on broil, which is 500 degrees Fahrenheit. And then with it on 500 degrees, which is broil, you're gonna wanna have the timer set and put it on 6 minutes. And then you're gonna wanna check on it as soon as that's done. And with broiling, it's such a fast-paced bake that you're gonna want to check it as soon as the 6 minutes is done. And you're gonna wanna test it with a fork. And if you can easily cut into the potato and it gives like a crisp, but it's not hard in the center, then it's done. But if after 6 minutes and it's not done, you're gonna wanna put it back in the oven for another 1.5 minutes and then keep repeating the process with a fork until it is fully cooked. So it's been 6 minutes and you're gonna wanna put oven mitts on so to make sure you don't burn your hands when you take the plate out of the oven. And you can just set it down on the counter. And then you're gonna take your fork and then you're going to put it into the potato. And right now it's still kind of hard. And so you're just gonna plop it back down. And then you can put your fork off to the side. And then you can, if they're really hard, which they are right now, you can put them in the oven for 3 minutes, just to give it a longer time period because you know it's not gonna finish in a minute and a half. But then once it gets like slightly soft, then you're gonna wanna put it in for a minute and a half because you don't wanna overshoot it, you'd rather undershoot it. And the fries are now done. They are golden brown and they're cooked all the way through. So now that they're golden and crispy and they've passed the fork test, you're gonna wanna let them sit for about 5 minutes. And after that, you can eat them and enjoy.